I have been. I was cruising around the Netflix a couple of days ago, and I found this David Attenborough's, I think the film called "Life on Our Planet," and I started to watch that. This particular series, a particular movie is about David Attenborough. I think it's about 90 years old now. But this particular film shows when he was very young, like a teenager in the 20s and 30s, where already he was doing lots of film of depicting their life on Earth. And very fascinating stuff that he was trying to show some of the footage of those and his life. And of course, you know David Attenborough's film. If you are, I don't know, the PBS fan or whatever, you see those films in the past. But for a while, I haven't watched his stuff that much. I know there's a lot of stuff coming out from his world. And but when I saw this particular documentary, it's about the biodiversity. Biodiversity means I think some of the forests are dying because of human existence, and some of the species cannot live in that particular environment anymore, and they just diminishes the number of the species, and then one biodiversity loss goes to another because the other animals or whatever depending on this particular species, and so it's like a one by one it just collapses. And so wow, that's pretty much like today that I think Attenborough's efforts is focused on that. The other film that I just saw on the YouTube is that Science of Our Planet, and this is focused on the carbon dioxide emission by humans to make the atmosphere of the Earth trying to to raise the temperature a little by little, and all the ice are melting, and so there is a thing called the tipping point of the particular phenomena. If you have this tremendous temperature gains by carbon dioxide emissions, it goes to the point where you cannot reverse anymore, and this goes on and on, and I think whole Earth environment is finished, destroyed. And so wow, that's where you have to really think about. I think the one step more poignant to me is like a biodiversity. I think he talked about phenomena in Japan, for example, that people start to get married, not to get married, and not to have children, and that means the human population goes a little bit less, and so forth. And that kind of a thing is, I think, this particular documentary was telling us that that's more or less like it's a natural phenomena by human side to stop population increase. And so those things I think in this particular life on a planet is well depicted, I would say. So in my personal thing is that the last couple of years, I think especially this year, I started to take a video of the nature, especially wildflowers and trees, and I was amazed how much I could find something like a tumbleweed coming from Russia taking over United States, or this European buckthorn came from Europe to destroy all the native species and propagating here in the United States. And those things kind of wow, it's amazing that that happens. But that happens, I think, I don't know what the consequences is. I think one species destroy the others. And then to the point where one species cannot live. And then, this particular one species also die down. And so it's a good idea not to kill the one species, but they kind of coexist. I think and that's interesting. And I saw this tumbleweed growing in that nature trail area that I go every day. It was not spreading all over, everywhere. It just locally isolated. And I see lots of them in one spot, but not the others. And so wow, that's a nice thing. And compelled daisy, for example, as annuals, they just grow near the trail, because near the trail, I think the grass, not the grass, I think that those wild growth is mowed once in a while by city worker to make it this trail cleaner. And so this compelled daisy growing only along the trail, and I thought that was interesting. And but when you see it, when you mow, only thing is that only few species, like compelled daisy, sunflower maybe, and also the cutleaf nightshade. I think I can see that along the trail mostly. And also prickly poppies along the trail. Oh wow, I thought that's kind of interesting, because why they don't grow into the deep, into the area where natural habitat is prospering, I would say. I think there's this mechanism that, when the nature was established one way or the other, they cannot invade there that much. Only the humans are cutting all the vegetation, and then those invaders start to come in and then take over. So, they talk about the Amazons, a forest. Deforestation is tremendous there, and then I think it's something else happens there. I think it's already happening there, and so wow, it is kind of interesting. I see it in my first hand experience that that's the vegetation is very interesting, and you cannot just compete with the one that existing there for a long time, because they are established, and they established very, very nicely. But if something changes, like a temperature and the dryness, all these things, and it's completely destroyed that particular balance, I would say. and then goes to only one way. And for the human turn, if that happens only one way, I think it's very scary, because human technology increased tremendously. And even, in my lifetime, I was amazed how much the technology progressed. And by doing so, I think the people start to notice that we have more senior people living on this earth. And for one place that there is no birth rate, and people not making offsprings, and that kind of things happened. And it's like only human being, because of the science or the technology, I think it looks like we kind of beating this natural balance of the earth. And that particular natural balance was very, very important to keep it, this natural environment of the earth, forever, because sun is natural environment, and earth was natural environment, and they keep much, much longer term, but human existence changing that tremendously rapidly. And so they're talking about tipping point. When it goes to the tipping point, there's no way back, and we are not tipping point yet. So David Attenborough is saying that we have to stop. We have to do something about this. I think that many scientists in the world are listening, not the politician. And so they're going toward the, trying to stop their carbon emissions, all these things. So I hope that's going to happen. And I like to see in my environment near here too, I would like to see that particular happening is real. I like to see that in my lifetime. I like to see the temperature fluctuation and so forth more stable, and I like to see more biodiversity. It is so. Well, I kind of start to mumble and so forth, but I kind of noticed that it is important for anyone who are living on this earth to be aware how important biodiversity is, and how important to keep this particular precious earth. I talked about the William Shatner going to the space and saw the earth and commented that how precious the earth environment is. I think that's very true, and we don't have anywhere to live, anywhere else to live. I don't think we can live on the moon, for example. I don't think that's happened, because completely different environments there, and oxygens and air is much thinner, so we cannot live there. I think we can only live with this particular environment of the earth. And as you know, the blue marble is just one marble, just limited size of this earth, and that's the only place we can live. I thought a while ago, maybe, probably 50 years ago, for example, I could go to all over the world to see all of the different type of thing, and I could live anywhere on the earth, to escape their some hardship, to go other better world, and I don't think that's not possible. I think it's just a limited space there. Beyond Earth, we cannot live. So we have to take care of the Earth. I think that's my takes of watching this David Attenborough's Life on Our Planet. And I think I started with the science of our planet too. And I really feel that everybody should watch. Although we as a person on the earth cannot do anything, but I think knowing the particular fact, knowing it, being educated, is I think worthwhile. I think so. That's my few cents today. Okay, bye.